Lieutenant Colonel Letricia Baxley is a 2007 graduate of the Academy who grew up playing basketball and volleyball in Anchorage, Alaska. Although she'd never heard of the service academies, something spoke to her on a recruiting trip to Air Force.
I kind of thought to myself, I think I could handle this. My dad was pretty tough. No one's gonna be tougher than my dad at yelling at me, so I can probably handle a place like this. And I really felt like I could see myself being there and also playing there. I always say basketball is what brought me to the Air Force Academy and to the service, but it's serving my country and all the opportunities that I got that has allowed me to stay and it has allowed me to continue to serve.
The 18 years since her graduation have been a blur, with assignments ranging from behavioral science to acquisitions and even an Air Force ROTC instructor. Now Lieutenant Colonel Baxley is commander for Defense Contract Management Agency in Greenville, South Carolina. But it was a deployment to Afghanistan in 2013 that really brought the idea of serving to the forefront.
I've been at bases that are around big cities in the United States. So to be in Afghanistan away from my family for 7 months was just kind of refocused me. It was a spiritual kind of time for me, and I grew mentally because of it. Even though I was doing base closure actions, I felt like that really reblued me and allowed for me to kind of have a stronger feel of service at that point.
Baxley is also quick to point out that her time on another team, playing basketball for the Academy, helped prepare her for working as part of the big team of the Air Force.
I think sports has 100% translated to leadership and leading teams of all kinds, and it's really kind of set the foundation of how I approach it. I think of everything from a strategy standpoint of, all right, as a coach, what would I do in the situation? How do I get this team through this challenge? How do we execute? And I think it's just a foundation of how I lead my organization.
Then Letricia Castillo was always a leader. She was the first Air Force player to surpass the 1,000-point barrier playing at the Division I level. And don't think for a moment that she's depressed when current players rise above her in the top career scoring rankings.
That's the cool thing about being first, right? The first Division I player, I'm expecting people to crush it. And there have been so many awesome players that have come through that are just killing it. And that's what I love. I mean, it means we're bringing in awesome players who are getting it done. For me, it's all love, and I'm just so excited for each season and to see how well the team does every year.
Speaking of the top level of collegiate competition, Letricia says there's nowhere else the Academy teams belong.
For the program, I think it's just so important that they get that level of experience, that they get that level of competition from each sport, from sport to sport. And I think there's an expectation when you play Division I of how you recruit, how you play, how you compete, that I think the Air Force Academy can sustain.
And by sustaining those top-level values, it makes the Academy a perfect breeding ground for developing leaders for the future of the Air Force.
Having worked ROTC, I've got to see both sides. I think the Air Force Academy puts us in a mindset so much quicker than some of our counterparts. I think we understand when we have exposure to what it's like to be in the military earlier and faster. When I look back and reflect on the things that they did, in the moment, you don't realize what's happening. You don't realize how it relates to the military, but then you kind of say, oh, that's why we were in groups and squadrons, little things like that. I think it was just the pure exposure and just being a leadership factory all the time. I think other missioning sources have those things, but they're not getting it at the pace that Academy cadets are getting it.
Not only does the Academy make great leaders, but those leaders share a lifelong connection like no other.
The women that I graduated with on that team are still women that I talk to today. And I think that is something that is just invaluable. I'm so thankful for that.